Today we're going to be talking about how you can find quality homeschooling literature and books instead of just twaddle. My beautiful sister-in-law Esther has asked me this question, and she's pretty new to homeschooling with her children, and I think she's been a little bit frustrated at a lot of the rubbish out there on the market today, books perhaps that don't encourage a deep love for literature, which is what we want to see in our children. And so she asked me this question, and I'll read it out for you now. Hi Rebecca, I've been wanting to find and invest in good quality literature for girls, not just twaddle, but I'm not sure what to look for or where to find it. Is there anything on your website about how to find and recognise good books? Now I would say that there is things on my website about that. If you have a look at this thing called Living Books. Living Books was a phrase, I think, invented by Charlotte Mason. So Charlotte Mason originally started as a classical educator, but she actually started her own educational method, which we now call the Charlotte Mason homeschooling method. And she said that we should feed our children on these things called living books. The idea with living books is that they tell a story, and so they get our children interested and curious in what is being told. But the other characteristic of a living book is that it is educational, and the author has good knowledge about the topic they are talking about, and so they can talk about it in an educated way, but they can also talk about it in a way which shows how they love the topic, and that often makes them the best person or one of the best people to be talking about that topic. So you can check out, have a Google of Living Books, or you can look at the article on my website about that at howdoihomeschool.com. But when you are looking for a good book, you want to be looking for a book that your children are going to enjoy reading. So if you're just sitting there with a really dry textbook, your kids are not going to enjoy it, and they're not going to take in much of the information in that book. But for example, if you read them something like Moby Dick and you wanted to teach them about the sea, you wanted to teach them about how hard it was in the old days to be a sailor and how dangerous it was, and sailors often lost their lives, what better way to do it, not through a dry textbook, but through Moby Dick. It talks about the danger of the sailor's life, and then it has this amazing adventure for boys. Boys really love it. I loved it as a girl, but boys particularly, I think it would spark their imagination. And this whale attacks the ship, and you can find out more about what happens after that. Another recommendation I would make on this one would be to teach your children with books that are perhaps a little bit above the level that they recommend today. And that's because I think children are able to take on more and take on more difficult books, and so their vocabulary is strengthened and their vocabulary is expanded. Aim to read to your child for more than 30 minutes a day, or you could have an audiobook playing so they get used to the language. Of course, children don't just learn from books, but they can learn from everyday experiences. So I want you to watch this video to show you how you can encourage homeschooling from everyday experiences as well.